Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over some tips and tricks I picked up along the way in my lighting journey that I'd like to share with you, and it might help you out just a little bit if you attempt a lighting kit for your Legos. Uh, I would suggest starting off small. I did BD1 and Darth Vader's castle before I ever attempted the Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. So tip number one, go over the instructions multiple times. This will familiarize you with the process so you already know what the next step is before you get to it. That's a big help. You'll know where the wires are going to go, you'll know which lights go where, and you'll just be familiar with it. I suggest reading instructions on anything you purchase, but this is a definite must do. Number two, tweezers. These are a must because the plugs are very small. No matter what company you buy from, the plugs are tiny. They have to be tiny to hide them in a Lego set. Now, if you take a close look at these tweezers, you can see that there's a little hook towards the end. Now, if you can get those closer to the end, that'd be better for you because around every single plug, there typically is a lip that you can grab a hold of to unplug it because you're going to test your light kit before you ever install. So you're going to have to plug in the wire and unplug each one at least once. Step number three and tip number three, your wires will come rolled up, but not in a bag this size, in bags that look like these. And to give you a size comparison, here's some minifigures next to them. So the baggies are not that big. So what you'll want to do is grab the wire by the center and just pull out. The wires are strong, so don't be afraid to put tension if you're pulling straight all the way to both plugs. And do that with the lights as well. That way they look like this. Now, after I've ran from the center of the wire all the way out, you can see how the once curved wires are now straight. And this doesn't just work with connecting cables, it works with the lights and any braided wire that you have. Now, as you can see, we have two different style of plugs here. The bigger one, which is this one, is the BrixMax 2.0 plug. Now, it states on their website they're not interchangeable with the old version. I only have one BrixMax light kit, and from what I was told, Lighttailing and BrixMax is the same company. Lighttailing is just more of a beginner style, while BrixMax is more of an intermediate experience style. But I'm assuming that their plugs would be interchangeable. Both the new versions from each company and both the old versions from each company. Now, as you can see, there is a little bit of a lip around here, which is why I suggested getting tweezers that have somewhat of a hook towards the very end. Now, our next plug is a smaller plug. It also has a little bit of a lip around it. Now, this plug is interchangeable between three companies: Light Go, Game of Bricks, and Light My Bricks. I can't speak for the new Light My Bricks 2.0. I do not have one of those kits yet. They might have changed the plugs on them. I'm not sure. So don't include that into the interchangeable of those three companies. But if you get extra cables, the small ones are interchangeable with three companies: Light Go, Game of Bricks, and Light My Bricks, not including 2.0 from Light My Bricks. And I believe BrixMax and Lighttailing will also be interchangeable. But they are two separate plugs. Tip number four. If you have long LED strips that are going to be longer than the bag, they will be rolled up in the same manner. Now, I currently don't have a long LED strip extra to show you, but I will walk you through that process so you can see how to straighten that out. Because if you don't straighten it out before you install it, no matter what shape you're putting it in, whether it be a straight line or the circles around the exhaust ports on the Millennium Falcon. If you don't straighten it first, they will pop up because they're conformed to that small, tight, circular shape that it came in the baggie. Now, being that I don't have an LED strip, we're going to use this wire as a for instance. Roll your strip out, and if you have a mat like this or something soft, put the lights facing down, and then place a not heavy book, but a decent weighted book on top, and let it sit for 24 hours so it straightens out. That way, no matter how you're going to attach it, whether it's straight line, circular formation, it'll stick. Because most LED strips come with an adhesive backing, so you can attach it exactly where it needs to go and it won't move. Now, if it's stuck in that small curve formation that it came in the small bag, it will peel up. So this is a very, very important step if you have a long LED strip. Step number 5, test your light kit. This is why you go over the instructions, because you're going to go through the whole instruction process, plugging in the lights in the exact order the instructions tell you before you ever touch the Lego set. That way you can fully test the lights before you install it. If any lights aren't working, if a expansion board's not working, soundboard's not working, or your remote control's not working. Now, every light company gives you a step-by-step on soundboard and remote. Some companies have 2 different versions of remotes, some only have 1, but they will give you the instructions for each one. And half the time, the instructions on the remote say to plug it in and test it before you ever install it. And as a side tip, if you are looking to display your Lego in any way other than battery pack or USB plug right behind it, if you want to put it in a case, put it on a stand, have it sitting somewhere nowhere near a power outlet on a shelf, anything, then buy extra cables and at least an extra 1x1 expansion board. This just allows you to run a power cable a little bit further than originally intended. Now, most light kit companies are great at designing the light kit to fit the Lego exactly how it's purchased. If it comes with a stand, then your battery pack's going to be right behind the stand, or your USB power supply is going to be right behind the stand. If you have an aftermarket stand or a case, you're going to want to invest in extra connecting cables and expansion boards. This light kit is Darth Vader's castle from Lee Lego. It is the only kit I've ever purchased from any company that the bags weren't numbered and the steps correlating with the instructions. But once I got that all straightened out, we just go through and we plug everything in the exact order the instructions tell us to. I have the bags all positioned out in step order. Now, at this point in time, you do not have to worry about straightening the wires because you're pretty much going to stick them right back underneath the bag. So just test your lights before you straighten any of them out. That way they all stay confined and you can keep track of the order. Keep the bags in front of you in numbered order, so when you unplug everything after testing it, you can put everything back step by step. So it's just like starting new and you just took the wires out of the package. Now that we've got everything plugged in, we're going to attach it to our battery pack and we're going to turn on our lights. As you can see, our lights come on. Certain lights are supposed to flash. They're flashing. Go through and make sure that every light is on and every light is working. It helps to move it around a little bit to make sure there's not any shorts anywhere and you don't have any issues with the lighting kit at all. Now, if you have a soundboard, it'll come on. If you have a remote, when you plug it in, typically you have to hit power on the remote to get the lights to come on. This kit did not come with sound or a remote, so I'm just going through, checking every light, every connection, making sure it's good to go. Now you're going to unplug everything. Take your time unplugging, wiggle the wires out slowly. because it is very easy for the tweezers to slip and hit the wire. If you do that enough times, you will damage the wire and it will no longer be good. So take your time throughout this whole process. Rush nothing. I hope these tips helped you out in your lighting process. One last tip: if you get a light up plaque, power those separate. Always power your plaque separate. You can't run the power through the plaque to the light kit. The board won't handle it. And you can't run the power from the light kit to the plaque. That won't handle it. So that's the last tip. But remember, take your time, be patient with it. It's going to take some time to install the light kit, but it's worth it. See you on the next one.